I think it's really evident that Trump's side, the right, does not have anything that they can really lob at Kamala Harris or Tim Walz. And it's really kind of interesting. Some of the comments I'm getting, I feel like they might be bots. I don't know. But let's go over one because it's kind of funny, right? So this one is someone had left a comment on my video that the excitement of Harris-Walz campaign is infectious, right? Of course, they're like, well, infectious can be bad too, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of telling, So this person, Mr. Volt0293, like one of the other people said in the comments, I respect your opinion. Well, thank you for respecting my opinion. I have 3 main issues with choosing Kamala Harris over Donald Trump. Okay, let's hear them out. Let's see what those are. Firstly, qualification. Okay. She simply isn't qualified. Okay, this I have to laugh because it's just, I don't know if this is a real person or not. I want you to understand that the person you're going to vote for, which looks like it's Trump, not even qualified for this office, and he was president before, and he's still not qualified. She has a very limited experience in executive roles. Well, no, not true. She was an attorney general for the state of California. That's an executive role. She's also the vice president currently. That's an executive role. Before vice president, she was a senator. But she was part of the legislative branch. Okay. But never held any positions as governor or mayor. Neither has Trump, which are roles that involve significant executive decision-making and management of large organizations or budgets. That's the thing. Trump does not know how to manage a large organization because he never has. See, Trump has put 6 businesses, he has bankrupted 6 businesses in his career. That's not a good sign. That's not a sign of confidence. He constantly is taking out loans so he can pay people. It's almost like it feels like a Ponzi scheme, right? Always stealing from Peter to pay Paul. He comes up with grift after grift, sells it as some exorbitant price, like his university. His university, he had to pay millions of dollars in a settlement because it was deemed that it was a scam. It was deemed a scam. Near the end, Trump University focused almost exclusively on seminars, both running them and licensing the brand name out to an organization called Business Strategies Group. These seminars often began with free sessions to get people in the door. Once individuals arrived, salespeople often tried to upsell them the Trump Elite packages, ranging from the Bronze Elite package for $9,995 up to the Gold Elite package for $34,995. Once these seminars began to flourish, the program became, in essence, a series of hotel ballroom consultations with salespeople rather than any sort of academic course. They didn't learn anything. They took their money and they basically did nothing for them. That's a scam, okay? So you're telling me that you have more confidence in a guy that has repeatedly scammed people over and over again, who has sexually assaulted women, who constantly lies. Yeah, does Kamala Harris lie? She does. And you know what? Every politician lies at some point. And I will also, hold her feet to the fire when she lies and tell my audience when she's lying, because that's important information. But honestly, when Trump's opening his mouth, lie, 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 lie. That's it. That's all he knows how to do. And all he can do is attack her career, which is way more decorated than his. She may not have made as much money, but he was given, like, over a period of time, he was given $413 million from daddy and still couldn't make things work for him. He owes more money than he can possibly pay. It's just astounding that people back him. I don't understand it. The second major reason is the Biden-Harris presidency. Okay, well, honestly, it's not the Biden-Harris presidency. It's the Biden presidency, and Harris is the vice president. The vice president is, yes, it's second in command, but it largely has no power. You should look it up. Look up what the vice president does. What the fuck did Mike Pence do when he was the vice president? Not a fucking thing. He did nothing. So just like if Trump were to win, Vance would be the vice president, he would also do fucking nothing. Oh, and to thank Mike Pence, which I have no love for. I think that guy is broken in a significant way, but on a human level, I feel a little bad for the guy because his supporters on January 6th came looking for him to hang him. Yeah, his supporters, who this man, I assume Mr. Volt, purports to be a supporter, is okay with that. Okay, Harris' approval ratings, for one, have been lower than Biden's, which has already been laughably low, which isn't true. Her favorability ratings are better than Biden's and better than Trump's, which I interpret it as a lack of confidence in leadership. I'm not sure if I would go with your interpretation of things. You seem to interpret things in a very not great way, in a very narrow-minded, very rigid way. I don't mean that as a slam. I don't at all. I mean, we can all be narrow-minded about something. I call my husband narrow-minded when he's being narrow-minded. I can be narrow-minded about things. We all can. However, I really think if you genuinely believe in your remarks, and I have to go with that you genuinely believe this, because if you don't, then it doesn't matter what I have to say because you're just saying things anyway. But I'm going to go with that you genuinely believe this. If you believe that Trump is so much better for the country, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like you're lost. I feel like you're just lost. So, additionally, there are a handful of key issues that, in my eyes, their president has failed at, mainly immigration, with over 7 million illegal immigrants since 2023. That's simply just not true. It's not true. People aren't coming, they're not invading us. They're not coming here to take our jobs away. They're not coming here to do any of the things that Trump says they're doing. And actually, accepting more immigrants into our country, actually, it helps us more than anything. It helps Americans more than anything, okay? So even if you're undocumented, they tend to end up paying taxes anyway. So they're paying taxes on, and they're paying into systems like Social Security and Medicare, which they cannot take any benefits out of because they're not citizens. So this is per factcheck.org, which is a pretty good site and does tell the truth. So encounters, and this is from February 27th of 2024, encounters at the southern border of those trying to enter the U.S. without authorization have gone up significantly under President Joe Biden. Yes, and there was a pandemic, and so it's going to go up because of that, because people that would have come in under Trump and during the pandemic weren't able to, Government statistics show that the initial processing of millions of encounters, 2.5 million people have been released into the U.S., meaning that they're waiting for a court date, their asylum court date, which can take years because of the lack of judges, the lack of staff to process these people, right? But they all have a notice to appear, right? So they all have a court date, and 5% come back for their court date. 99% of them do. because they don't want to be here illegally. It's so much harder to be in the country illegally. It really, really is. I've known people that have been here illegally, and they say it's just so much harder. It really is, than to be here in a legal capacity. And if you can get asylum, you can get a work permit, you can do a job, you can pay taxes. I'm honestly, a lot of people that are not here on a any kind of authorization do still pay taxes, because the government kind of turns a blind eye to those people. And 2.8 million have been removed or expelled. So, yeah. So it's not like 7 million people are coming into this country, right? Inflation. Yeah, inflation. And you want to know why inflation happened? Corporate greed. It's corporate greed. It has nothing to do with the federal government, actually, and everything to do with companies deciding to take advantage of a situation. And they decide, you know what? We're having supply chain issues because of COVID. We have to raise our prices a little bit because of that. And they're like, wait a minute, people are still paying this. We're going to raise them a little bit more. We're going to raise them a little bit more because people are going to still pay it. You know why people are going to still pay it? Because they have to fucking eat. We have to fucking eat. So people are spending the money on food that they would otherwise have to spend on, they would otherwise be spending on other things. But because they need to eat and fucking survive, that means they have to buy those foods. And it's not necessarily the grocery store that's going up, but if you're shopping over at QFC, it's probably the grocery store as well. They're getting a little greedy. But it's the people who make the food. They're making it more expensive. So grocers buy things at wholesale. They might be doing a net 30 or a net 60 or a net 90 thing. I don't think they're doing that, but still, it's from corporation. It's corporate greed. 100% corporate greed. There's a lot of evidence out there for that. You just need to, start Googling and doing some homework. And the right, again, they can't show you a shred of evidence because they know why inflation is happening. They're trying to deflect it because guess who they represent? They do not represent the working person. They represent the rich guy. The rich guy in the 1%. That's who they represent. Do not be confused. They don't give a fuck about any people in their base. They want you to vote for them. They want you to buy their scammy shit. So then he can pay off his legal bills with his campaign finance, campaign funds. Which, isn't that a campaign violation, finance violation? I would think it would be. I don't know. But, he's having people come to his, places to spend that campaign money. Well, I think they're spending like PAC money at his establishment, so he can basically, they're money laundering. It's money laundering. He's money laundering to himself, and he's been doing it for a while. Okay. So, immigration and inflation and cost of living, which has surged. And it has, and you are right. But it's not because of the Democrats. It would have surged if Trump was and actually, part of the reason why we can't afford things is because of what Trump has done. Because of his tax credits to ours, his slashing taxes for the rich, and then actually making our taxes go up. My taxes went up by a couple $1,000s a year after Trump did that. And I'm in the middle class. It's ridiculous to be like, wow, it's the Dems' fault. No, it's not. Both in the housing and food markets. Okay, yeah. And let's talk about housing for a minute. Let's talk about housing. How there's a huge reason that our inventory because of COVID has fucked up our inventory of houses. So Kamala Harris has addressed that, and she wants to build 3 million new houses and rentals in 4 years, which is a really good thing. And I really hope she does it. Well, I mean, she's saying she's going to do it, so I'm going to take her at her word. And then when she gets into office, because I believe she was going to win, then we hold her feet to the fire and say, where's our fucking houses? Build these new houses. It's going to spark our economy. It's going to create jobs. It's going to make it so housing prices fall down or come down a lot more. Also, venture capitalists. And she says she's going to tackle this. Venture capitalists are why the inventory is less. They're why people who are renting are paying way more than they really should, probably double what they should in a lot of places. Also, they're making people perpetual renters because there's nowhere else to buy, right? I get a letter probably almost daily still. I get texts. My husband gets texts too, asking us to sell our house. Our house has quite a bit of equity, but we're not refinancing it because we have a very low interest rate. We're not about to fuck that up. And B, because right now the interest rates are insane. I would never refinance my house during that time. Anyway, so that's really, and then, and food markets, and we've already discussed the food. Okay, so furthermore, she was given a chance as vice president to make her own accomplishments. Okay, that's not a thing. It's not a thing. Vice presidents don't really accomplish anything. They really don't. What did Biden accomplish when Obama was president? Okay, he got Obama to agree to gay marriage, which I think is great that he worked on, and which I think is weird that Obama didn't have that stance. But whatever. I'm not gonna judge. I'm glad we got it. But that's not how the vice presidency works. So it sounds like you just don't understand how our government actually works and how much power she really has, or doesn't have really. Haston. I think he meant hasn't made any notable accomplishments separate from Biden. Yeah, she wouldn't, because Biden's the boss. When you're the president, your vice president isn't running the show. That's just not the way it happens. It's not the way it works. Even though Trump is trying to tell people that, it's not true. Because Trump doesn't understand how it works, and he was a president. My third major reason is reputation on the geopolitical scene. I don't mean to laugh. I promise I don't mean to laugh. But really, Trump is a joke. People who don't live in United States see Donald Trump as just a clown. He is not well liked. People do not like him. The only people who liked Trump were Kim Jong-un, Putin, and Netanyahu. That's it. Netanyahu wants him to win, because then he wouldn't be. I think he's threatened by Kamala, thinking that she might cut off his funding, and I really hope she does. I hope she does when she gets into office. I know what she said at her inauguration, not quite, I'm jumping the horse, at the DNC. I know what she said there. I'm still holding hope for a better response when she wins election and gets into office. But we'll have to see how that goes, and still continue to give pressure to her to do the right thing. There's no amount of pressure that will make Donald Trump do the right thing. He will not do the right thing no matter what. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. And he doesn't care about Jewish people either. Don't get that confused. He does not care. He pretends to care, but he doesn't care. So Donald Trump, so I think he's trying to say Donald Trump, though known for being mean, although he didn't say that, on the global stage, has a reputation of being a strong leader. No, he doesn't. He has a reputation of being weak and rambling and not making sense. And he's a weak man. And I'm sorry, if you're a man and you're following him, that also means you're weak. But you don't have to be. You can be a stronger person. But honestly, anyone who's following Trump, you have issues. Get therapy. I hope you get therapy. I hope you understand what you're in a cult. And he's not a good person. And he's not going to... And I'm not saying Kamala is God or is this, angel. That's not the way this works. I'm willing to gamble on her. I am not willing to gamble on him. I'm not willing to gamble with my my own autonomy as a woman, my voting rights as a woman. I'm not willing to gamble trans people. I'm not willing to gamble people of color, black people. I'm not willing to gamble them in order, I don't know. Like, there's nothing that he represents that I would want. Nothing. Everything he stands for is vile, in my opinion. So, he has a reputation of being a strong leader. No, he doesn't. Someone who has proven to be able to handle global conflicts. Nope. Without extreme measures. And the fact that he put in people in the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, so he can overturn Roe, and then he's proud of that. That's pretty extreme, because you know what? Women are dying. Women are dying in these states because they can't get health care. They can't get the care they need when they get into a medical emergency because they're pregnant, and because that particular state has told those doctors, well, if you do the wrong thing at the wrong time, we're going to jail you. And you know what? If I was one of those doctors, I wouldn't trust those states either, because they're playing dirty. They're playing dirty, and they're just going to do whatever they want. They want to control women. They want women to be basically property again. And you know what? I say to that? We're not going back. We're not fucking going back. Okay? Take Kamala Harris, though. Again, she is attached to Biden's presidency, like it or not, when considering her for president. Okay? That's her mistake for putting her name on the 2020 ticket. Is it? Like, she didn't put her name on that ticket. He asked her to be his running mate, and she decided yes. She didn't decide because she's like, oh, I love Joe Biden, even though she keeps saying she does. I don't think she really does. But, I mean, honestly, the Biden presidency, in terms of their geopolitical policy, has been a train wreck. Really? What's the train wreck? Tell me that. Can you detail that out? Because just saying it's a train wreck is nothing. That you're saying nothing. Take Ukraine versus Russia or Israel versus Palestine. Okay, that's laughable. That's laughable, because Israel versus Palestine, you think Trump is going to be better on that? He's not. He's going to be worse. He's going to be worse. And you know why? Because his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, wants to develop Gaza so they can have it. Him and Biden are exactly the same on this. Is exactly the same on this issue. They are exactly the same. That's it. And Ukraine versus Russia, we should be supporting Ukraine. In fact, I think we should have boots on the ground to deter Russia more. But I'm glad, guess what Ukraine's doing? They're working their way into Russia. May they take Russia over and take Putin out of power, because that man's a vile, vile human being. And again, Trump loves Putin, loves him, because Putin loves Trump because Trump is a useful idiot for Putin. That's it. Trump's a useful idiot. Our solution to global conflict has been to just throw money at it, and we certainly have to, but again, at the cost of American living. The thing is, it's not entirely true, because the fact that Trump slashed taxes for the rich, he made our deficit go up, which we pay for, the American people, us, not the rich American people, the middle class or the poor. We pay for that. So no. And the thing is, I don't think we should be arming Israel at all. But that's just my opinion, and I hope that changes under Kamala Harris. So if you truly cared about that, you would actually be voting for Kamala Harris, not for Trump, because Trump is way worse about that. And also, again, I watched your entire video. I respect your opinions. Great. I'm glad you respect them, but you're going to not like this video, I'm pretty sure. There are just 3 of my main reasons why I wouldn't consider Kamala. I don't think you're... Like I said, I'm going at this video as if you're truly, like... as if you truly care But I don't think you do. I honestly don't think you do. But you might. So let me know in the comments down below what you thought. Thanks. Subscribe.